Hey everybody, Shannon, Type 2 Tactical. Making another video here because there has been some discussion about my last video about why tariffs and trade wars are complete bullshit. Okay, so the confusion goes around, what is the tariff on? And the tariff is that have been imposed recently are on steel and aluminum. So let's make sure that you understand. The bulk of the steel aluminum that is purchased from overseas and utilized in the United States does not come in the form of raw billet steel. There aren't giant container ships of slabs of steel or rolls of steel coming from China or aluminum, okay? The steel and the aluminum are coming over to us in finished product, okay? So let's take, for example, let's just say this is a car part, okay? It is a part for a car. That's not what this is. This is actually a binding guide for a sewing machine, okay? But let's just say it's a car part. It could be made from steel or aluminum. It doesn't really matter for the sake of this explanation. But let's just say this is a car part. The car manufacturer says, I need this part. And he goes to the American manufacturer and he says, hey, American manufacturer, you're great. We love you. You've been around for 100 years. You're stable. And we want you to quote this car part. And here are the specifications. It's got to be made out of steel or aluminum or whatever. And, give us a quote for this. So the American car part manufacturer puts together his quote and he says, I can go out and I can buy steel in the open market for X amount of dollars. And my labor costs, my overhead, my fixed costs are all here, and I'm gonna make these for $3 a piece, okay? So they go to make it for $3 a piece, and they send in the quote. The car maker goes, hey, Chinese manufacturing company, what can you make this for? We want you to quote this part. And the Chinese manufacturer, they don't go to China and say, hey, will you sell us the steel to make this part at the American manufacturer? That's not how it works. They call the Chinese manufacturing company and they say, we want this part. Quote it, here are all the specifications. It's either steel or it's aluminum, whatever it is. The Chinese manufacturer says, okay, great. So we're gonna quote this part. And what they do is that they take the steel, the cheap steel that they have, and it's cheap for a reason, and I could go into that, but that's neither here nor there. They make steel to a system called the JIS standard, not the SAE standard like we do. It's very dirty steel. It's not all around good, okay? But anyway, that's beside the point. So they take their steel and they go back to the Chinese government. They go, oh, we've got to quote this. So then, of course, the Chinese government is subsidizing the steel industry because it's government owned. Okay, they're subsidizing the steel industry, so they say, hey, government, I need to be able to quote, I need to make this part for GM, Ford, Chrysler, whoever, and I need to give them a quote, and I need to make sure that I can come in at the lowest price possible so that I can put this part in a box and put it on a boat and ship it all the way across the planet. So the Chinese government, the steel company says, okay, we're going to sell it to you for X, Y, X number of, you want a pound, and you're going to make your part. Come back to us if you have a problem, okay? So then the Chinese manufacturer, because his labor is super duper cheap, he's going to charge you $1, a piece for labor because he's only got 2 cents a part in labor in it, because he's got girls standing up on top of machines with their legs across the opening pouring plastic into the hopper instead of it being automated and bullshit like that. Okay, so then he quotes the part and he says, I can make this part for $1 shipped to your door. Okay, so understand, folks, and I'm not being critical of that. Understand, folks, that when they say cheap steel or cheap aluminum, it's bullshit. We don't buy shipfuls of steel and aluminum. We buy parts that have value-added processes done to them. Okay, their material could be steel or could be aluminum or whatever, but we're also buying the value add, which is the labor and that is put into the manufacture of the parts. We're not buying raw steel and not buying raw aluminum. That's why manufacturers here that use U.S. steel and U.S. aluminum are not hurting at all, because they were already buying U.S. steel and already buying U.S. aluminum. The people that will be impacted are the people that are buying the cheap ass parts from China that already have the value add. Now there's going to be a tariff on that material that comes in, okay, which makes Joe Blow American manufacturer now more competitive. His price doesn't increase. He is now magically more competitive with his competitor in China, because his competitor in China, his material costs and labor costs are subsidized by the government. That's what this battle is all about. And if you don't understand that, you're just dealing with fear and ignorance. So not much I can do about that. But that's the explanation. Till next time, take it easy, Shannon. Type 2 Tactical.